Hey y'all, Arthur Fantastic here, aka the Hot Shot, and today we're going to be talking about something that no one seems to want to talk about: J-Rod's ban from B Team. Honestly, I wanted to be one of the more early creators to talk about this topic uh, because I believe and predict that when this headline gets picked up, it's going to be dramatized and it's going to be uh, exponentially made worse and exacerbated by people because of the way that current culture has progressed in modern society. I think that there is a lot to talk about on this subject, and I think it crosses over into a philosophical um, territory because, as the modern martial artist, the modern grappler, can become very tunneled in what's going on in the mat, and then you got to work, and then you got to eat and make sure you're resting and all this other shit in your life, that life sometimes ends up becoming a one-dimensional pursuit, or reverse, like your job becomes this dimensional pursuit, and like BJJ is your release, and you're doing all these other things to help your release, and it kind of like puts you in a very niche sport where you can't maybe not meet a lot of women. And I'm not going to pile on to J Rod. I'm also not going to be unnecessarily generous. I'm going to provide my thoughts on the matter. I'll give grace when grace is deserved, and we'll talk about the topics. We'll talk about the post that came out, and I think that at the end I'll have some closing thoughts. Once again, uh, kind of concluding what I was saying throughout the video, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this whole matter. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of speculation. There's going to be a lot of conjecture. So don't take my words as facts. I am going to be as I see it. This is not supported by anyone, nor is this an allegation of anyone. I'm going to be putting out some uh, thought experiments, some possibilities of what's going on, discuss what that would mean, and discussing what they mean on the posts that they're posting. Seems a little bit vague. So let's get into it. Thank you for watching. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I post a lot there too. Arthur Fantastic on IG, 1K instead of IC. Holler. We could try to talk about shit on this channel that other people don't want to bring up, just like I brought up that whole Henner Gracie cult allegation things, you know what I mean? And I think this also has a string tied to that. So without further ado, let's get to this discussion. For me, the whole story started on my feed on Instagram, and it's from Craig Jones BJJ and the B Team JJ Instagram official pages. J-Rod is no longer training as a part of B Team. He has stated his reasons for his removal. B Team is a safe training place for all, and we have a zero tolerance policy for anyone breaching that trust. So that immediately I was like, whoa, what's going on? J-Rod, for those who don't know, is the younger brother of Nicky Rod, the one who won the first over 80 kilogram $1 million prize of the Craig Jones Invitational, CJI for short. And he is been a longtime member of B Team since the Danaher breakup, since they went to Puerto Rico before the Danaher breakup, where there was some friction where he was not allowed to train there either with the Danaher squad. But I think it had to do, if I read correctly, with some misunderstanding with John Danaher and a joke that Nicky Rod made off the cuff. And he had some skin condition, and then his older brother's like, oh, you got herpes on your face. And then John Danaher's like, oh, he's got herpes on his face. And so he's never allowed to train there. That's what I hear. I don't know what happened in Puerto Rico, but I assume that that is a similar thing. He doesn't have herpes, right? Allegedly. I mean, I don't know, but this is all from an article that I read some time ago. So that being said, there is a history of not being allowed to train with the team, but we have an explanation there. So we shouldn't try to make connections there, which I foresee some of the outlets that may pick this up try to, okay, if this becomes a thing. Because J Rod is at the top of his weight class. He may not be number one right now, but he's in top three. Sometimes he might be saying number two, sometimes three, but he's at least a game player. And he's been at the center of a lot of the BT media when they're making vlogs and things like that. He's seems to be a funny guy, seems to be a good looking guy, young, good looking guy, got some notoriety. He's got a following. He's part of one of the biggest teams in jiu-jitsu or grappling or submission wrestling world right now. They're making money. They are very sought after in terms of being athletes. So this is not going to be this is going to be a mar on J-Rod at least, and possibly B Team going on in the future. And this brings up questions. What happened? And it's so severe that he's banned, okay, right? So the severity must match the whatever must have happened, in my opinion. But then am I applying something that is not true, that maybe someone has an unreasonable standard of whatever went wrong and then banning them? I don't know. Now we can watch the video with J-Rod. I'll put it right here in its entirety. You can watch it, listen to what he's saying. You can always run it back or go to his page, and then we'll discuss it on the other side.
What's up, guys? You may have heard that I have been banned from B Team, and this is true. Essentially, I've had some unhealthy interactions with women in the gym, and this has now led to me seeking help through therapy, just for my porn addiction that I've had for quite some time now, and seeking help through therapy for the past few months, as well as just further building my relationship with my beliefs, my religion, and just kind of changing my lustful ways and just working towards being a better person. So that's the update on where J-Rod has been.
Now, it's not a bad video. I think he's being genuine, but I also feel like he's uncomfortable in his video. As if almost he's being forced to say this and put out this this statement. And they roughly put the stuff about this, both of these posts that I just mentioned, they were posted roughly around the same time. So this could be coordinated so that it's not showing ill will among them. But I don't know. It was just a plain text black box post from B Team and Craig Jones. So that could have been put together in seconds. So I won't allege that either way because I don't know. I'm just saying that could be coordinated, but it might not be. It might be the quickest response ever. There are some things to highlight here. There's some things to highlight. And I think that they should be highlighted because of their vagueness. Now, what does an unhealthy interaction with women mean? Now, I don't know what that means. In today's society, an unhealthy interaction is an unwanted interaction with a male, right? It's simply that. Like, oh, I didn't want to be interacting with you like this. That's harassment. This is inappropriate. Now, you would say if someone had an addiction, okay, let's say you're talking to your dog. I feel like I see this post. I think most people see this post and they're like, what did you do? Like, you're talking to your old bad dog. What did you do? And the dog's like, well, I have a couch chewing addiction. And you're like, oh, Are you saying that you chewed the couch? But when someone says, I have a porn addiction, did you porn someone? I'm not sure what that means. Um, See, because we live in a culture that's overly litigious, lit, litigatal. I wouldn't know what word to say. Litigious seems like a correct word, but who am I? I don't fucking know. But a society that pursues a lot of legal cases over discomfort and this, that, and the other thing. Okay. See, martial arts used to be like a boys' club. You know what I mean? This would not happen at a boys' club. Okay. Or it would not be normal for it to happen at a boys' club, but it would happen in circumstances where there's mixed crowds, which I think is necessary for training. I think to certain extents there should be, limits, but I mean that would be within my own. If I had my own studio, I don't set other people's rules. I roll with whoever, whenever, and I'm just trying to impose my game. And whatever game I'm playing that day, whether I'm trying to let people get in deep in on whatever and get out, or I'm trying to dominate on top or pass, that's what I'm going to do to that person. And I'm going to force them into that position. It doesn't matter what they are, who they are. That is my plan. But in terms of situations like this, they could be avoided because you could have limited this interaction somehow. I mean, this is business, right? This is a business. This is also like martial arts. There's got to be some degree of separation in terms, at least on the mat, you know what I mean? But that's also why people do BJJs, because it's so free form, so open. So, it has its pros and cons. I can only say what I would do, right? And this is also, I guess, a critique on the current system of this is open and people are liable for these situations because of such an open culture. But pros are, there's a lot of openness. I mean, that's great for innovation. That's great for opening new members to joining and getting other people involved, which is great. Those are all important things to a business or to the art, you know what I mean, whichever way you want to approach it. But when we get going back to whatever this issue is, where he has a porn addiction and he had some inappropriate toxic interaction with women, right? What could that mean? I don't know, but we can make some guesses, I suppose. Now, why I look at J Rod, and as I said, I will say that this is a young, good looking guy. What is he doing? Why is he single? Right? Now, if he has some kind of uh social interaction problem with other people, some athletes are like that. They're just like, I'm an athlete, you know what I mean? Not everyone is the person that grabs the microphone and talks shit. Some people are whatever kind of person. But if you're going to be the type of person that has a porn addiction and you're doing grappling and all this other thing, what is this that could possibly overlap? Okay. Now, is he having relationships with women in the gym? Is that the toxic interactions? Are these consensual, like, toxic relationships? Could possibly be. I don't think that would be the most apparent thing. I don't see him dating. I don't see pictures with women. I don't see these problems. So that's like, maybe he's having habitual relationships with different women that are toxic and that they just need to get that out of the gym. Don't really see that, but that's a good possibility, right? I mean, maybe there's little notes and little hints for people who are watching the B Team vlogs that may know better than I. But sound off in the comments. But we're just making guesses. We're not making allegations. We're just like, how could this possibly? Okay, you know what I mean? It's like that one Henry Rollins joke where it's like, oh, that there was a guy who sued Starbucks because the toilet seat fell on his balls, and Henry Rollins like, how the fuck did that happen? And he just goes through his mind like, how could that fucking happen? We're just wondering, how the fuck does someone get kicked off of the most prestigious team over some toxic interaction? What could that fucking possibly mean? Because that's a very severe thing. And why are they being vague about it? And what the fuck does a porn addiction have to fucking do with it? Like, is he fucking is there some like kind of like porn thing playing out in his head? Okay, this is another possibility where he's seen with women. He's like rolling with them. And he's like, oh, is that what's happening? Is he a creep with women while rolling? Damn, that might be it, right? That could be a possibility. That would be severe enough for me to say, okay, God, dude, like, stop fucking doing that. Just to take these two possibilities once again, if J Rod has this like interaction pop problem, you know what I mean? They want to drop the, autism jokes and everything like that. I think that's very in vogue and everybody calls each other autistic and everything now. But he has an older brother and he's got like other people around the gym that are obviously, in relationships, or capable of being, good with women, like Craig Jones, obviously the heartthrob of grappling right now. Um, I don't know where this is coming from or going, and the vagueness makes me like, we want to stand up against people who are doing abusive things, right? I don't even follow people that are enablers of the people that do abusive things to their uh, fucking whatever. You know what I mean? There's a number of ways to call it, and we know the names. We know the names. Okay, we fucking already know the names of Lloyd Irvin and fucking this. Don't forget. We don't forget here. Okay, allegedly something happened with the Lloyd Irvin. Allegedly, right? That's what I'm saying, right? There were some allegations with like a lot of voices out on it. It's frustrating when vague shit like this comes out and it's like, oh, this is pretty severe. I'm sure that there is something to be learned here in terms of what is going on with J Rod and his ability to interact with people. Why can't he get a girlfriend? What's this porn addiction? You can't, like, what's the problem? He's of notoriety. He has sponsorships. He gets paid to do what he loves. Like, all you need a woman behind you, bro, right? That's what you want. You want a woman to more than have sex with, but maybe that's the problem. He just wants to have sex with women or something like that. What could possibly be the problem? What could possibly be the problem? And see, if you're that famous, there are women that are throwing themselves at you. You know what I mean? It's not like he's fucking Brad Pitt or fucking Elon Musk, who has billions of dollars and women just throw themselves at him. But he's famous enough to have that happen enough, you know what I mean? And to have that kind of status and to be able to find a woman. So is this porn addiction also getting in the way, or is his lifestyle as an athlete getting in the way, as a martial artist getting in the way of having a social life, which is a full martial artist, has a fullness of his art, and that life is art in itself, and that includes relationships. It's not being by yourself. You know what I mean? Obviously, this is demonstrated by him wanting to have some type of porn interaction with other people. Still don't understand what that means. Or option 3, that there was some type of interaction that he had with a woman that was awkward, and this became a bigger thing than it was because of the current culture of things, and that resulted in a accusation that led to this, because we live in a culture that there can be no kind of nonsense about that. And Craig Jones is one of the people that speaks out about this, and so he would not want to be a hypocrite, and I'm sure the people around him also would agree with him, and they themselves holding similar positions. This is just coming out today, May 6th, right? Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. There will probably be more out to come, but I finally and that's a possibility. We don't know. What I mean, we see people getting accused of shit that's real heinous, and then in the end, when it comes out, and they'll apologize, or some people, or whatever, and then in the end, we find out that they were innocent, and it was really the woman that were pursuing them to make it seem like, but then in the end, made it seem like they were harassing them or trying to uh, grape them. Okay, so there's the the case out of Harvard. There was a guy who was in their school. This woman accused him of raping her and ended up being saved by footage where she's throwing himself at him and she's talking to her friends and making sexual signs behind his back, and then signing him into their where they're staying. It's all consensual, but she made it seem like it was not consensual. And uh they he was found innocent, and even though he was found innocent, he was still kicked out of Harvard. Okay, you got that guy from what's that guy from is it his name Joe from Impractical Jokers? Joe, right? Joe, like someone was like saying these two women were like accusing him of like being perverted with them, but then you see they're like releasing some of the text, but then you see some of the text around them, and you see that there's other text that's missing, or the text around them. I'm like, oh, they're clearly flirting with him. You're asking for a room. You're coming to his room at 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying? You're texting dirty with him, and then, but you accused him, and then all this comes out, even from your own hand, because women can't even see that their lies are see-through sometimes. Okay, not all women are lying about this. Obviously, I led with the more credible possibilities of actual abuse, and that needs to be always spoken about. I think that's why we should talk about this. If no one talks about it, we're not going to learn anything from it. And I think that this subject of sex and the meshing of genders, you know what I mean, and even the discussion of, okay, maybe we should do something to make sure that this doesn't happen, can't even talk about that. And I think that an easy rebuttal to limiting interaction is saying, well, just don't be a creep, which would the response would be some women are creeps themselves, and then they come out later on saying that, oh, it was the guy that was being a creep. So that's why I wanted to end with maybe some of these stories of things like this that would happen with Joe, would happen with that guy in Harvard. Might that happen in the future, even though he's fucking apologized about having a porn addiction? Like, what does that even fucking mean? And then we finally end with something that I want to highlight with which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Is like I'm getting more in touch with my religion and trying to limit my lustful ways, which is he's applying to the Christian religion. That's definitive Christian wording, and that's totally important. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing to get in touch with. I mean, the whole reason why we can even say that the porn addiction is wrong, that lustfulness is wrong, that whatever is happening, this weird interaction, whatever we're talking about, these inappropriate interactions that J. Rod is alluding to, well, the only way we can say these things are inappropriate is because we have the Judeo-Christian, or just let's just say Christendom, the West, and its morals and ethics, which say treat women like ladies. Rape is wrong. Okay, oops, grape. Fucking do demonetize, right? I mean, I'm not monetized right now. It doesn't even fucking matter. Grape is wrong. Okay, and sexual assault is wrong. SA is wrong. So we discuss these things, and we will have some type of gray area where we have to let people interact with each other. Like, people have met doing jiu-jitsu, getting married, like being jiu-jitsu students, but then we have to see that, okay, there's things like this that happen, you know what I mean, and they happen possibly more often than people discuss. And that's not just saying it actually happening, also women accusing men of something that they're not doing. Okay, both of these things are happening, you know. and they go unreported because they're dealing with in house. But it's kind of a kind of thing that um there is a lot more data than the surface information that we have. And the surface information that we have from me, like I love Law and Order SVU, they're still putting out that fucking wrong ass number 1 in 4. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Look it up. I fucking love it. Doesn't even fucking matter. I love that show. Clunk clunk. But in the end, they are putting out a lot of data. We've been trained as a society, we're by the Duluth model, by these ideas that it's almost always the guy. It's always the guy, but really it isn't. Whether it be in domestic abuse, or it be an SA, and if a man even makes a claim about SA, they are completely laughed out. But if a woman makes a vague accusation, they are believed, and consequences are put on an innocent man, even if he's proven innocent, like in the case of the Harvard case. So there's enough of the one and enough of the other to be alarmed in both directions. Like, okay, is this a real case, or is he apologizing for something he didn't do and he's talking about porn addiction? Like, what did someone bend over and she said, oh my gosh, I feel so stretched out, I feel so tight, I need to be stretched out, and he was like, oh, like, is that what happened? Or what the fuck does porn addiction have to do with inappropriate interactions? How do you porn a person? And what does that mean? Is he just being a creep? Is he saying you're being a creepy guy? And if you're being a creepy guy, it's because you're not going out there and getting a woman for yourself and being held down by a woman who is supporting you and is keeping you strong. And instead of you fall into, like you said, random lust. If you're a Christian, one of the calls is to be fruitful and multiply, and that includes marriage, and you should be getting married. So if there is something to be also learned here, if he's turned to Christianity, then this next step of, after you've understood the way and how to walk it, is to find a woman to walk in the way with you. Okay, to lead her in the way. Like, it's literally your call as a husband to wash her in the word and lead her in the way. So that is all important talks. Okay, all important top talking points. So let's finish this off in some closing thoughts. No, I mean, I think there's a lot of things to discuss on the topic. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at the Brazilian culture, it's a very sexual culture. You know what I mean? It's a very sexual society. And one could say that the interactions of, the guard has that Brazilian allure. It's kind of sexy. It's kind of sexy when you have a woman, beneath you and you're in their guard. That's kind of cool, because that's what unfolds in a bedroom. Okay, maybe that is in some way over sexualized, and we have to discuss that with students. Or maybe there should be a better understanding of what the where we should be doing, like how long we should be holding guard, and we should be standing up. When you see wrestling, there is an initiative to get up and out, as opposed to accept between your legs. Is that some type of critique on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe explains these fucking weird porn moments he's having. What does that mean? Still, I can't help but wonder how to porn someone. But it is of note that there is a cultural and societal reflections upon arts, and art reflects then upon society also, back and forth. You know what I mean? Art and society, the old adage. But let's, beyond that philosophical point, the issues of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling community, of repeated accusations of SA, these are rampant, and the intimate nature of grappling itself, one might have to pause for a moment and think about what could occur that could just not occur if there was some separation. But is there really enough to, like, practitioners to warrant that? And so that becomes the problem. There's not we need to grow women's grappling for that to really even be a possibility. So then the statement of the false allegations being, a thing, and also knowing that some of these allegations are definitely true, and we have to give credence to them. We have to listen to them because these are serious allegations. We as a community have to really come to a let's talk about it and not brush it under the rug um, philosophy. We have to face this type of thing and then talk about the implications, and how we can employ um, ways to not let this happen. You know what I'm saying? And discuss possibilities and options that if will not be discussed if we just say, okay, yeah, that happened, or this is true and we just believe it, or that wasn't true and we're just gonna sweep it under the rug, or this, that, the XYZ. If we just sweep it away, we just dismiss it, we don't learn from anything, we just hide it, we just keep going, we're not going to learn anything from them. We're like, oh yeah, that other guy did that one thing, oh fuck, whatever, yeah, that gross. Let's fucking talk about it. But no one wants to talk about it because they're afraid to talk about it. They're afraid to be labeled for things that I might have even said in this video. Oh, he wants to put separation. What a misogynist. It's not, I don't ask anyone to do that. I don't ask anyone to do that. That would just be my if I had like my own gym. But I love training with the opposite sex. I love teaching anyone that wants to train anything at all in grappling. I love to train with them. It doesn't matter how they identify. I don't give a fuck. But what I think is my fucking opinion, and it does have validity to it. Is it the answer for everyone? I doubt that one answer is the answer for everyone. And as such a complex subject, people will need to understand that too. That one size fit all will not fucking work. And how will we come to better conclusions? Not by saying, oh well, this one's better because of these pros and you have these cons, but the reverse is true as well. And if we just leave things as they lie, it will rot, and rot spreads. Okay. And we don't want to see any more abuse of the hierarchical structure of things like martial arts, just like in the hierarchy of places like religion, because we care about these things, and these put Mars, as I said before, on the record of the entities involved. So with that being said, what do y'all think? What could possibly be it? When things come out, will you come back here and discuss it? Will I be right? Will I be wrong? Could one of these options be true? Or could there be a fourth option that I didn't think of that could possibly be leading to these things? Has there been other allegations that I don't know of? Possibly. Let's discuss that. Let's put it down in the comments. Let's, as a community, go down here. And we, once again, need to show grace to the guy. He seems to be, there doesn't seem to be anyone coming out strong-handed about this. But who knows what happens in the future if there is such a precedent to put this guy out to pasture because of this issue. So I don't know if out to pasture is even really the right saying. Just like kick him out, you're out in the doghouse, you're not in this house no more. So guys, prayers up. Hope everyone's okay. Whatever happened and all the people involved, I hope everyone is doing well. And as I always say, stay up, stay vigilant, stay locked and loaded, stay brutal. Always stay brutal. Shalom, shalom. Peace. In.